飛ばしたらあんなこんなどんなカーブもへっちゃらさダダダディダダドゥダダうなるエンジンで涙なんかぶちぎれ
Welcome to the Super Sentai Brothers. This is episode 19 of Licensed to Carranger, the internet's best and only podcast dedicated to Gekisou Sentai Carranger. Every week we watch an episode of the show and we share our thoughts with you, the listener. My name is Matt J. With me as always is my co-host and brother Dave. Dave, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm fine.
Oh, you sound, I can't tell if you sound extra fine or not quite fine enough.
Well, you know, it's that silver lining situation, Matt, where personally feeling a little, I actually feel mostly okay. I'm just a little bit scratchy, but it's doing good things for the old instrument, Matt.
Very nice. Well, listeners, I hope you are all looking forward to enjoying the fruits of Dave's illness here. Normally, I can't think of a good reason why one would enjoy the fruit of another person's illness. I'm not sure why
we
that
exist.
Way, but...
Listen, our relationship is very narrow. You know, like it sort of only covers us speaking and people listening. So occasionally
they respond.
No, it's lovely. Occasionally they respond because sometimes they send us things.
Yeah,
it's wonderful.
Anyways, that's not what we meant to get bogged down in. Dave, we're having a nice mid-afternoon weekday record. Because today is Memorial Day.
It is.
Happy Memorial Day. And that's great. But you know what else is great? Episode 19 of Carranger. It is called The Hit and Run Girl of Love. But before we get into that, Dave, as always, shining in the heavens, there are 5 stars. Would you like to hear what our first star of the week is?
Yeah, and even though I can see the list, it doesn't mean anything to me.
Okay.
So,
okay, the first thing on the list is a video game, and the title of the video game is Baba Is You. Now,
oh, okay. Now the title, what I'm seeing written down makes more sense now, a little bit.
Okay, so this is a puzzle game, and here's how it works. I got it yesterday, and I'm still very excited about it, because I haven't quite hit the wall of where the puzzle game gets too difficult for me, and I have to start looking up answers to things and feeling badly about myself. So I'm still in that zone where the puzzle game is making me feel very smart because I'm figuring out the puzzles.
Cool.
So the way that it works is that each individual level has a set of rules to it.
Okay.
But all of the words within those rules are tiles that can be pushed around on the screen and rearranged to reset the rules of the reality of that puzzle.
Whoa. Okay.
So the reason that the game is called Baba Is You is that there's a little sheep or rabbit or something called Baba, and in most of the levels, one of the first rules that is there is that Baba is you. But if you manage to find another block that has the name of a noun in it, you can go over and push it over and replace the word Baba with the word key or star. And then once key is you, if there is a key on the screen, then it moves around as you.
Okay.
And then it kind of goes from there. And so the whole thing is just this series of weird it's like a logic puzzle that is also a tile pushing puzzle. It's really cool.
Okay, that does look really cool. I hopped up on Wikipedia to check it out, and it's by a Finn.
Okay, someone from Finland.
Yes, yeah. As opposed to just a fish's fin. Yeah, a fin from Finland.
I don't know, man. I just wanted to clarify.
And that's just no. That makes sense.
Someone from Ireland named Finn.
Well, that would be a Finn. No, that's okay. You're right. I got you. So yeah, that would make sense because Finns are unusual people. They're all wizards. Everybody knows this.
Dave, I'm not sure that everyone knows this.
Have we not talked about this on this show before? How all Finns are wizards? All Finns are wizards.
I mean, you and I have talked about it in life before. Do you want to explain it for the perhaps curious listener who is wondering why you are claiming that everyone in Finland is a wizard?
Sure. Now, first of all, I will say that if you know anybody from Finland, this is not, you won't be confused at all. And so anyway, sorry, in like old Norse mythology, specifically like Norwegian mythology, there was a period of time, this is not a joke, there was a period of time where it was illegal, it was against the law to believe in Finns because, as the logic goes, all Finns are wizards. You are not allowed to believe in wizards because the church says that there are no wizards. And so, therefore, rather than admit that perhaps all Finns are not wizards, you simply are not allowed to believe in Finns because they're all wizards.
Seems, and you know what? It's that sort of a logic string that I think really is well reflected in the video game Baba Is You.
It is.
And it's very fun. It is on the Nintendo Switch. It might be on other platforms. I highly recommend at least the first 2 hours of it.
Well, if I get a chance, I'll check it out. That sounds really cool.
Dave, what is our second star of the week?
So our second star of the week is I read just one of the most bonkers stories I've ever seen, and I just needed to share it.
Sure.
So there is a dude, and his name is Les Wexner. And if you've never heard of him, that's not super surprising unless you work in the fashion industry. And Les Wexner owns a number of very well-known fashion brands. He owns Victoria's Secret. He owns The Limited.
Does he own The Limited too?
I presume he would also own The Limited too.
No, I am surprised, Dave, because I genuinely assumed that all those things were owned by Jeff Bezos.
Listen, I cannot confirm that Les Wexner himself is not owned by Jeff Bezos.
Now, we got two options here, Dave. Is Les Wexner owned by Jeff Bezos, or is he an alter ego of Jeff Bezos who has been constructed and fabricated entirely for the purpose of owning a couple of different companies?
Well, I think it would probably be the first, because Les Wexner is much older than Jeff Bezos.
Well, I mean, that's the constructed fiction. When did you first hear of Les Wexner?
Well, that's true. I have not heard of him since I only heard of him earlier this week. So it is possible that we have been... I feel like there's a movie reference I could pull here, but I'm not coming up with it. Anyways, so Les Wexner is from Ohio.
Oh, so are we.
He's from...
Well, so am I.
Yes, us too. So... Yeah, technically I was born in Alabama, but I think of myself as being from Ohio. Anyways, so he's from Columbus, and he's a billionaire, okay? And as often billionaires do, he has a hobby, and he is free to sort of pursue that hobby as far as he cares to, because he's got, functionally infinite resources. Right? Well, it turns out that Les Wexner's hobby is municipal planning.
Really?
Yeah. He's real into it. So into it, in fact, that he basically bought a town.
How large of a town?
Well, not a town. It's not a hamlet. It's not 10 people. I mean, it is it's like a town. It's outside of Columbus.
Okay.
And he has basically he has constructed Stepford effectively outside of Columbus. And it's this super intricately and he lives there.
I mean, if you're going to buy a town, it would be silly not to live there.
Well, it's great because this is very much like a Mr. Burns. He lives there and he's definitely the richest dude. But it is also it's expensive to live there because it's super nice because he won't let anyone build anything that isn't. And so it's like the Hamptons or something, but it's outside of Columbus, which is bizarre. For a number of reasons.
Right, there's nothing nice outside of Columbus.
Because first of all, I've lived in Columbus. It's a great town to live in, but this is not the right sort of space for it. Second of all, Like, listen, I love Ohio. Don't, I know a lot of people don't go to Ohio. I am unabashed and sincere in my love for the state of Ohio. Not that we don't have our problems. But, like, he has constructed, like, this town that requires, like, a quorum of super, super rich people. And Ohio is great, but super rich people, not thick on the ground here.
Yeah, they do not tend to gravitate to America's heartland.
Yeah. So it's just this, and it doesn't look like anything in Ohio. It's like this sort of like neo-Victorian, kind of like New Yorky, Georgian, brownstone thing. Like it's completely, it's bizarre. It's like he has constructed his own Truman Show, because he just like hangs out there, right?
He knows it's there.
Yeah, like he lives there and he can just like go to the grocery store. Nobody hassles. I don't know how many people are hassling Les Wexner anyways, because he's not like Brad Pitt, right? I don't think people are like stopping Les Wexner to like ask for his autograph. But it was and he's like not the mayor or anything.
Well, I mean, not officially.
Right, like technically he's just a citizen, except he owns it all.
Man, imagine being the mayor of like Wexnernia or whatever it's called. Like, because
it's gotta be the best.
Like, you are the mayor, or the worst, because you are the mayor, and someone will yell at you if something isn't great. But you know that everything you do, like, you have to email the CEO of Victoria's Secret before you put your signature on something.
Good. Yeah, I mean, I guess I would assume being mayor is a paid position. That seems like, if you don't mind people, but if you live there, you've got to know that the mayor is like functionally useless. Because here's the thing. The town did exist before he bought it. Like, he did not create it wholesale, but it was like, it was like pig farms or something. And so what he did, he just bought all the land. He just bought everybody out and then started building things. And then like the population of this town has like octupled in the last like 15 years since he started this project.
Well, because it went from one person to 8 people?
I mean, yeah, presumably something like that. No, there's a few more than that. But
no, that is a wild story.
Yeah, I just love the idea that you're just like, some people want to scale Mount Everest, and some people want to like drive race cars, and some people just get like real into municipal planning.
Dude, I wonder if he's one of those dudes that like had a model train in his basement and is like, I don't have enough space to like really get what I want out of this experience.
Man, listen, I want to be honest. Model trains make me nervous, Matt. Because like I think I kind of get it.
Because you can see the trap, you can see it looming.
Like I can a little bit. Like if you just see like, oh, I've got a model train in my basement, it's like, oh, whatever. And then you see people who are like really into it, and they've built like this entire countryside diorama, and it's actually really impressive. I'm like, ooh, no, I get it. I could see where that would actually be very, very fun.
So this is why you're not allowed to refinish your basement. Because now you would not want to put a model train set down there. But if you made it nice down there, that would be like a perfect, huge area to do it.
It would be great. Anyways, Matt, so who knows? I'm 36. I still got time to build a giant fashion empire. What? And then I can really indulge my nascent love of model trains. What, Matt, is our third star of the week?
Dave, it's Conan time. Time for me to talk to you,
as it is every so often,
and the listeners about how much I and you and everyone should love Conan the Barbarian. He's great. His world is wonderful and horrible. But Dave,
yeah, like wonderful to read about. Yeah. You wouldn't want to live there.
There is
not even would want to visit. This is not like a nice to visit. Wouldn't want to live there.
No.
Wouldn't want to visit. Wouldn't want to see it with a telescope. Don't mind reading stories about it.
Yeah. Or a movie, Okay. There is a new Conan the Barbarian RPG tabletop system.
Cool.
And I've been poking around with the books, and guess what? Looks like it rules.
Okay, awesome.
Because again, you do not play Conan. You play someone else in his world. It is called Conan, an Age Undreamed Of, I think.
Awesome.
And like a lot of cool systems, it has a thing where if you are trying to make a character, you can do it all like manually, or you can just roll a series of dice, and after about a half an hour of rolling dice and writing down the results, it has given you 75% of a character.
Love it. Every time I will do that.
Yeah, so
it's so much more fun.
I just sat down and did it last night. I was like, oh, I've got this pirate from Zingara who used to be a petty noble and then survived a duel in a war and escaped to a life of crime on the high seas. But it's cool because when he was a kid, he learned how to do all this when he was sneaking out from a place where he was being raised that was not his house, but the home of a political rival of his family. So, and all of that is just straight from the rolls I did.
Dude, that's fantastic. Have we ever talked very briefly about what a bummer it is that the Jason Momoa Conan movie sucked?
I never saw it because it did not look great other than the first 5 minutes where there's the little kid Conan, which actually did look great.
Well, that's the problem is it did suck. There were a few good moments, but
anyway, the two Conan things I want to say. One, movie Conan thing. Have we talked about how much I would love to see a King Conan movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger now?
Dude, Matt,
because they talked about it.
I don't want to say too much. You might be in luck. I feel like I've heard some scuttlebutt about that, coming around.
It would be great because the thing is, if you did that, you would not have to the way the Conan novels are written. They're completely out of order. The first. Chronologically within the life of Conan, that is. So, the very first Conan, story, The Mark of the Phoenix, is a story of King Conan, in his, middle age. But there's so many Conan stories that happened before that. So, if you wanted to, just do a movie with King Conan now, you could just get a different dude to play Conan and do, a Conan the Pirate movie next year. It wouldn't matter.
Yeah, it would be fine. No, okay, so here basically was what I've heard is that Schwarzenegger really wants to do it. He's down, but it is not
right.
It is not for sure. Schwarzenegger says that a script has been written.
Okay.
Or is being rewritten.
Well, I mean,
we'll see.
That's the sort of thing I heard for years about Bill and Ted 3, and they're actually doing that now.
And they are, in fact, doing it. So, hey.
Oh, anyway, the last Conan thing I wanted to say about the RPG is that there are a bunch of, supplemental books to be if you want to play, in this part of the world, then buy this book. If you want to play, this kind of character, buy this book. But every one of those books, it's not called, Adventures in Hyperborea. The one about doing stuff in the north is called Conan the Barbarian. The one about doing stuff along the coast of the continent is called Conan the Pirate. The one about doing stuff where you're sneaking around and robbing people and getting different types of prestige classes where you're assassins and spies is called Conan the Thief. Everything is just listen, this is the Conan game. It is specifically the Conan game. It's not the fantasy game. It's not the weird fantasy game. It's not the, swords and sorcery, generic fantasy game. This is Conan, and we are putting Conan on every single cover. We've got one that's Conan the Pirate, and one that's Conan the Brigand, and one that's Conan the Thief, and there's 3 separate books.
And do recall, you will never play Conan.
Oh, no, and if you see Conan, you should probably run.
Oh yeah, dude! If you there's just no. Oh my gosh, I love.
You don't even want to be on Conan's team. You want to be on the other side of the world,
right? Because nobody on Conan's team survives except Conan. He kills everybody he fights, and then everybody who sides with him also dies, and then Conan makes it through. Next story,
right? Anyway, Dave. Speaking of an age undreamed of. Would you like to hear what our 4th star of the week is?
I would, Matt. I could see it written down. I don't really know what it means.
Okay. The age undreamed of that I'm referring to is 2008 on the internet. Which
a beautiful time.
Which I think is maybe the last time the internet was good.
A beautiful golden era, man.
Yeah. It had its problems, but I feel like that was sort of before everything really jumped off the rails. But I found, and I forget why I was even looking for it, but I found a website. It is a WordPress website, and it is a blog that was created entirely within 2 weeks in May of 2008. It is called Not Quite What the Doctor Ordered, and it is an exhaustive catalog of off-brand Dr. Pepper and off-brand Dr. Pepper names with like a brief review and rating, like a 1 out of 5 Dr. Pepper cans. Like how
oh my
good
gosh,
is this like kind of Dr. Pepper?
What a beautiful DNA laden mosquito preserved in amber.
Right. Like it's like I so miss that sort of internet. You got Dr. Parade, you've got Dr. Nut, you've got Dr. Nehi, Dr. M, Dr. Lin. I'm not going to sit here and read the whole list.
Yeah, that would be too many.
Dr. A plus.
I like that.
Anyway, I love it. I don't have a lot to say about it, but it really made my week better
here's the thing.
when I found it.
Like, if you are a person... Now, like, listen, obviously everything moves in stages. I'm sure there are people who are, like, older than us that were much more, like, internet people who were like, no, man, the internet hasn't been good since, like, 1997.
Right, since it was all newsrooms.
Right. But there was... I think here's the big thing, is that in 2008, like, the internet existed, obviously, and people were, like, doing business on it. And, like, Google was around and stuff, obviously, but, like, nobody had maybe, like, cracked quite as much of the monetization of the internet as there is today.
Yeah.
So, like, there was a lot more on the internet of people just be like, I'm going to create an exhaustive catalog of Dr. Pepper. And not that people aren't doing things like that today. Like, some people have a 4-year-long running podcast about Super Sentai. Like, the stuff exists.
Sure. You mean Heroes?
Right. It's just that there was a lot less, like BuzzFeed didn't exist. And that's kind of all I need to say about it, right? Like, BuzzFeed didn't exist. There wasn't, like, an endlessly recycled, like, circle of clickbait.
Right, there wasn't the same sort of churn.
Right, where, like, 4 sites are just endlessly reposting all the same material, like, from each other.
Anyway, this has been the white guys in their 30s remember the internet. It used to be good, guys. It's not anymore.
It used to be so good. Matt,
except that it brings us to you and you to us, and that's good.
See, there's still golden spots. Matt, what is our 5th star of the week?
Dave, I had to take a sort of last-minute work trip down to Columbus this week. A lot of Columbus talk. This episode. I just had to, like, go to a library thing. As I mentioned, I go to library conferences. And I had to go to one in Columbus, and the place where I was staying was, like, down the road from the IKEA.
Okay.
And so...
Oh, man. You lucked out.
Yeah. So...
IKEA's the best. So we've talked about this.
I was leaving the conference. It was, like, 4 p.m., and I thought, like, man, if I leave now, this is, like, a weird time to be on the road. I'm either going to get, like, traffic leaving Columbus or traffic entering Cleveland. But if I just, like, hang out here for a while, I can go home and basically miss all traffic.
Yeah, although I don't know why, because traffic... Did you hit, like, weirdly heavy traffic coming out of Columbus heading north?
No, because I went immediately to the IKEA.
Okay, well, no. I've just discovered there does not seem to be a time at all ever where I can head north out of Columbus and not hit bonkers traffic. Anyways, tell me about IKEA, Matt.
Dave, it was great. IKEA by myself, just listening to podcasts and wandering through, like, every single, like, bit. You know, just spending, like the full 2 hours in IKEA by yourself. And, like, I didn't get much. I got a new desk lamp.
You don't need to.
I got a new cutting board. And I got a third thing that I do not recall immediately, but I think it's something in my kitchen.
IKEA's the best. It's great.
I said,
it's so chill.
I got some meatballs. I got some lingonberry juice.
I love the meatballs.
Now, Dave,
I love the lingon.
Here's the weirdest part about my time at the IKEA last week.
Please.
When you think about the music that plays at IKEA, what do you think you're going to hear?
I guess I don't really think about the music. If I recall, it's just sort of like Sirius FM inoffensive rock music.
Interesting. So what you're saying is that you would not have expected to hear the Christian Summer Camp Jam of the 90s, A Friend's a Friend Forever by Michael W. Smith? Because I'll tell you what.
I would not have expected to hear
when
that.
When I was at IKEA last week, that is 100% something that was on the radio. It was wild. It was maybe the first time I had heard that song, like, out in the wild, maybe ever, but certainly in the last 20 years.
I'm genuinely not sure what to do with that information, man.
I mean, neither am I. The only thing that I knew I had to do with that information was talk about it right now on this episode.
Yeah.
Guys, if you don't know Michael W. Smith, he was I think he's probably still active, like a sort of, I don't know, singer, songwriter, heartthrob of like contemporary Christian music in the mid-90s. Do you think that's a way that you can describe him?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Anyway, not the sort of thing you expect to hear on the radio in 2019.
Yeah, definitely.
It's the sort of thing you expect to hear like on stage at the Billy Graham Crusade.
Yes, I think I may have.
I'm pretty sure we did. Yeah.
We may well have. Listen, if we haven't, I just want to take another minute to talk about IKEA very briefly.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. That sort of went off the rails. And frankly, we've been going on these stars for a while now. We could probably wrap it up.
Listen, if I haven't said this already, and I may well have said it, if you are a person who is moving out on your own, or you're getting married or something, don't register for places, okay? Because here's what's going to happen. You're going to register for stuff. And you're going to register for register for a couple of like nice things, right? And then after that, don't register for stuff. Because here's what's going to happen. You're going to register for stuff, and you'll be like, oh, we will register, if you're getting married, we will register for all of the things we would need to like put this house together. Great. But you're not going to get all that stuff. People are going to be very nice, and they're going to buy you some of the stuff, but you're not going to get all of it, just because like that's how life works. It's fine. But you're going to need to fill in the gaps, and you're going to fill in the gaps with leftovers from like other people's houses. Probably your mom and dad's, which again, super cool. Like, it was very nice to have those things. But what you should do instead is just ask everybody to get you IKEA gift cards. Okay? It won't be as fun to open. I recognize that. Your fun will be when you go to IKEA, because you can pick out an entire house, an entire starter apartment, and it'll be like $4,000 or something. It's insane. You can get everything in IKEA. We went and got new dishes, and we were like, these weren't the color we wanted, but we'll get them because we do kind of like them. And then we went back another time, and we were like, oh, they have the color we wanted originally. Should we return the ones we got first? And then we said, no, it's a full set of dishes for $36. Who cares? Just keep it. It's amazing.
Anyway, this has been apparently a paid ad for IKEA, which I was not expecting to end the 5 stars with.
Yeah, well, sorry, Matt. Listen. It's just such a pleasant shopping experience.
It is. You know, people, I feel like it is if you're on the same wavelength as the person you're there with, because otherwise it is a dangerous
otherwise
experience.
It would be a nightmare. Oh, yeah, it would be terrible.
Speaking of nightmares, Dave, there's a monster in this episode that we're about to watch. And we should talk about it.
We should.
The 5 stars have been going for over a half an hour. We need to pull the plug on this.
Okay. Let's talk about this crazy monster.
Okay, we're going to take a break. We are going to watch episode 19. It is called The Hit and Run Girl of Love. Its original air date was July 5th, 1996. It was written by Naruhisa Arakawa, which is not one of our normal writers, although apparently he has written and will write some more episodes this season. And we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. We have just finished watching episode 19. And Dave, I love the title of this episode, now that I know what it's about.
Yes.
Because the name of this episode is the Hit and Run Girl of Love. Hit and run is a thing that you can talk about when your show is car-themed, but hitting and running are also two things that happen in baseball, which is what this episode is about. It's really good.
Yes, I was fully not expecting a baseball episode out of this, and I do dig it quite a bit. I do think I keep wanting the monsters to be more car-themed. And like what keeps throwing me off is that like sometimes we do get a sort of distinctly car-themed monster, and then sometimes they're just like, baseball. He doesn't even drive a car. Forget it.
Yeah, the Bozoke are not particularly, like they are themed along the lines of like a like Japanese punk gang, not so much like cars specifically, which is fine. They're more into being reckless than they are into driving at this point. Although both parts are
I think reckless with their image,
character.
reckless with their whole sort of vibe, perhaps.
Anyway, so this episode opens up, and Zanette is clearly having a daydream or a dream. We know this because there is a hazy filter on the screen, and she is standing in a field, wearing her like crazy villain headdress, but also just wearing like nice regular clothes.
Yeah.
She's holding a love letter, and she is wistfully speaking to herself about the Red Racer.
Yes, and then somebody approaches, and you see they're a boy, and they're also in a school uniform, and you do not see their head, so guaranteed it's just the Red Racer. And he like sort of slowly approaches, and she holds out this note, and she says, "This is for you." And then we see that it is in fact the Red Racer in a school uniform, but he does not accept the love letter. He doesn't put his fingers in his ears because he's wearing a helmet. he does wiggle his hands at her. It's like, "I don't like you, dumbette." And then she wakes up.
We find that she has fallen asleep reading manga at the bar.
I am fairly certain it's the same manga from like a few episodes ago.
Yes, I believe
think
it is.
She just grabbed that one and is like, "This one book that I found randomly is the human Bible of emotions, and like this is how all things work." I'm so glad I found it my first try.
Also, falling asleep reading manga at the bar, I feel like is a big mood. Not necessarily for me, but that is definitely one of those things that I feel like I could get some mileage out of on the internet. So she gets up and she wanders over to a window and she shouts like towards the direction of the earth that she was.
Well, there's
mad.
like a viewing window.
Yeah.
We've talked. I don't know if we've mentioned this before. There's one viewing window. Apparently, it's in locked, or the Barabarian is in like locked orbit because this window is always facing Earth. Mm-hmm. And so whenever she is like pining and or angry, she looks out this window and she looks down at the Earth.
Right. She wants Red Racer to get out of her dreams, but interestingly, does not want her into her car.
Although that would be very appropriate.
Yes.
Hopefully, at some point, he will get into her car, or she'll get into his. But yeah, so she's angry at the dream.
We cut down to Kyosuke, who is also dreaming. He is still at the fabulous Hotel Epinard Masu, because apparently they're still down at their company vacation at the Rindo Lake family farm.
Sorry, I laughed really hard because this is 100% a thing that does happen. Like, I am in a very happy, loving relationship with my wife, and she has, not like a lot, and she has woken up, and not like continued to be angry, but like has woken up with me, like upset in real life about something that happened in a dream that she had. And like she recognizes that is irrational, but it does like she's cranky about it for a little while. And this is a universal experience, so please don't make it sound like I'm digging on my wife.
Oh no, I mean, hey, listen, if I have a weird dream where like I have
for whom I have the highest esteem,
where like I have to go back to high school because they've changed the graduating requirements, and it turns out now there's like an algebra 3 that I have to complete so that my diploma can stay active. Like I wake up feeling weird about school, regardless of whether or not like it was actually true.
Matt, that is a wildly specific dream.
And yeah, I think it is not an uncommon one.
Okay, so anyways, so it's funny. It's a thing that happens in real life. Hey,
Kyosuke is asleep in the hotel. He is sharing a room with Minoru, Naoki, and also Dapu.
Yeah, I did not realize that they were at a hotel because remember I didn't watch the last episode, right. And so I was like, do these guys all just share one apartment? That seems weird. Yeah, I didn't realize they were in a hotel. And he is dreaming of Zanet, as we said.
Yeah. And the next day, he's like still thinking of Zanet. Like they're at the park, and he is just like sitting by himself at a table, like sort of looking wistfully into the distance and thinking about her.
Oh, so wait, there's a bit that you missed, Matt. So we're on Barbarian. Right. So we go to Barbarian, and basically all of the evil guys are like, Beauty Zanet is really bummed out recently. Like, we don't know what to do. Like, she's really sad about something. We just have to blow up the Ursh. Like, we got to get on it, guys. Everybody loves Zanet. She wants the Earth exploded. We got to make this happen. So, Instructor Reggie Hiker's like, it's cool. I've got a plan.
I got my best guy on it.
My best guy is on it. He's down on Ursh already. He's getting in some fresh air training, and he's going to blow up the whole planet. It's going to be awesome. So we go down to, and Zanet says, oh, fresh air. It must be like this somehow signals to her.
There is only one place on Earth where you can really enjoy some fresh air, and it's the fabulous Rindo Lake Family Farm,
which has apparently they have some Swiss people. Just on display.
Just on retainer. Got them there. They're just playing some like Oompa music.
Yeah, and one of them has a big Swiss flag so that you know like which sort of like Germanic country they're from.
It is always so like jarring to me when I see a bunch of white people in a Sentai.
It really threw me off for a second, but there you go. I have read all sorts of crazy stories about being white, specifically in China, where like they will hire people to just come and like pose as businessmen. Like you're going to be on the payroll for our company and just sit in front of a presentation. Because, like, having a white dude there makes it look more official. People will be very... you don't have to say anything. Just be there and be white, and it'll be official.
That is deeply broken, I feel like, on 4 different levels. But I do not have time
I read it, and I was like, that's wild.
Do not have time to also unpack all that.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, they've just got some Swiss people on zoo display. It's cool and fun. They're playing Oompa music. And now we're back. We see Kyosuke, and he's, like, having a coffee, and he's looking sort of pensive. And Natsumi walks up and she smacks him in the head, and she's like, what's going on? What are you doing?
Why are you sitting here trying to look cool? What's happening here?
And he's like, I wasn't trying to look cool. I was thinking about Zanet and how sad she is. I feel real bad about it. And then he's like, oh wait, just kidding. Ha.
Right. Like
he wasn't actually considering another being and her feelings.
Yeah. Like he forgot for a moment that he was like supposed to try to be tough. And then immediately it's like, oh, not only am I going to tell you that was a lie, I am going to literally start strangling you so that you don't tell anyone.
Well, no. Natsumi's like, no, you were being sensitive. And he's like, no, I wasn't. And then he starts attacking her.
How could I ever be sensitive? The physical, like Three Stooges-esque, like, slapstick back and forth between the characters in this episode is, I think, maybe the most extreme example of this show feeling like a live action anime. Like, that is definitely something that would have happened in like a Ranma 1/2, you know?
Yeah, and then she, like, the head would have gotten real big and then the arms would have wiggled back and forth real fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she runs away and he's chasing her and they run into everybody else. And they're like, dude, Minoru is like, okay, whatever's the problem. Can we just chill out? We're at the Renda Lake Family Fun Farm.
Yeah, Minoru.
We're a family.
Minoru definitely does
fun.
the same thing that I would do, where if like two of my friends were like kind of in a fight and they got over to me, I'd be like, no time for that. It is time for fun. We're at a thing. Stop arguing. Now we need to go on this ride.
Which is exactly, well, they're about to. And then Kyosuke hears something. He's like, what is that? And then they duck. Because everybody to duck. And then a baseball flies past super, super fast. And then it bounces off like a target in the woods with the ranger's face on it. And then it bounces directly back and they have to duck again. And then we see this week's monster.
Yes. His name is HHDO. And he's a baseball monster.
He's a terrible baseball man, is what he is.
Here's the problem with HHDO.
Not like a man who plays baseball. He is a baseball. He's a baseball.
Yeah,
basically.
He's a half man, half baseball. Here's the problem with HHDO, is that his torso, he's got one of like those torsos where the head's in the middle of the torso.
Yeah.
It's a baseball. He's a baseball with arms and legs. But the problem is, it's not round. It's like egg-shaped.
Yeah, he's like an oval.
It's really bad. Like, it's the whole time I'm just looking at it thinking, like, if you were round, this would be a great monster
it would be
shape.
fine.
And yet, you're assaulting my senses by making me see an oblong baseball, and I don't like it. He's got giant articulated eyebrows.
He's got a very weird how to say his face.
I mean, it's bad. We can say that.
It's bad.
He has big red eyes that sometimes glow. And like I can tell that at this point we've watched a few episodes of this show and that the technology is advancing, because the articulation on the face of HHDO is something that we would have never seen in Jetman.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like his eyebrows are like fully articulated, like go up and down and back and forth, like they're very animated. His eyelids are also that way, and it doesn't look awful. I mean, it looks awful because he's a hideous monster, but like the movement of them looks like good and smooth.
Yeah, like it's a good piece of they did a good job with that. So okay, so HHDO, he is a terrible baseball monster. I was really hoping we were going to get an episode in which like the Rangers have to play a game of baseball against like a team of Wumpers as led by HHDO. That's not it. We go to Barbarian and we get the explanation real quickly, which is that HHDO has an exploding baseball.
Yes.
And that's it. That's the whole plan.
Right. Richie Hiker is very pleased with his plan. Everyone else got like Richie Hiker started saying his plan. It's like, I sent down HHDO. Everyone's very into it. He's got an exploding baseball. Everyone's into it. He's going to use that baseball to explode the city. Everyone's into it. And then he says, that's the plan. And everyone really expected there to be at least 2 more steps to this plan. Like, President Dynamo was like, wait, hold on. Like,
I think this actually speaks to why Instructor Richie Hiker is like a next level villain. He's like, what? Why do you need more? He has an exploding baseball. Explode the city. This doesn't need to be complicated. So we go down from there and we see Zonnet and Red Racer. And everybody else is there. But as far as they're concerned, they're the only 2 people in the world. And they're looking across each other. And we hear some piano music.
Oh, yeah.
The camera's gone.
It gets all hazy like it does.
Yeah, the camera's gone all fuzzy. And like they walk up and oh no, I'm skipping a part. That's right. They're about to walk up and then Zonnet steps on a flower. So like clearly she's not here for love.
She's here for exploding baseball.
Okay, so HHDO is like, get ready, jerks, here it comes. And he throws a ball. And Blue steps up, Blue Racer, and is like, I will be the baseball guy. So he gets out his Viblade, which is awesome. And he's going to bat it. And he's about to. It looks like he's about to hit it. but the ball curves.
Sinker.
It's a sinker. It's specifically it's a fork ball.
Yes,
is what it's called. I don't know what that means, but it's a special pitch, and it like loops around his bat and explodes.
I do know because at this point, Red Racer says even the god of the forkball, Shigeru Sugashita, something like that.
Sugashita, Shigeru Sugashita.
He would be impressed.
He was born September 17th in 1925 in Tokyo Prefecture. I
also looked him up. Yeah, I was like, this must be a real guy. That guy retired from baseball in like 1966, and he is being name dropped on this episode, which I find very charming.
Dude, he's the god of the forkball. That's what Kyosuke says.
So HHDO starts throwing a bunch of more balls like at them, and people are trying to hit them, but the forkball is too strong.
Yeah,
they can't get
and Kyosuke yells, he's like, keep your eye on the ball, which is, isn't that like, I mean, I'm not a ball player, but isn't it like baseball 101? It's like, keep your eye on the ball.
I mean, I'm also not a baseball player, but it seems, it's good advice.
Yeah. So anyways, Kyosuke, after a couple explosions, Kyosuke gets one. Like, he manages to hit the ball back, and it explodes, and HHDO goes down for a second, and then Zanette intervenes, and she's just in her car, and she drops her knockout bucket attack, which is she throws buckets at you.
Right, she just has like pots and pans in her car, in her flying car, and just drops them on Kyosuke's head. And like, they're not an effective attack, but
I mean, it's effective in that they don't kill HHDO.
That's true. It's again, I feel like this is one of those things that is very like live action anime.
Yeah. So she jumps down out of her flying car, and now it's just Red and Zanette again. And she says, "This is what you get for dumping me." And Red Racer's like, "What?" So, because first of all, of course, they weren't dating. And then he says, "I wanted to be your friend first before we started dating." And she says, "That's a lie." And they're like right next to each other. They're like inches away.
And like HHDO is standing a little bit of ways, and the other four Rangers are also standing back. Like, man, I wonder how this is going to play out.
I love the degree to which the other Razors seem perfectly content to let all of this just sort of play out on its own. So she says, "That's a lie, you didn't." And he says, "No, it's not a lie." And then she says, "Well, it's too late. I don't want to be your girlfriend or friends with you." And he says, "Well, we're still going to beat this monster." And she says, "Well, if you beat the monster, maybe I'll consider being friends with you."
This is how all relationships start, right?
Listen, this is literally, I can't emphasize how true this is. This is literally the exact exchange Beth and I had before I proposed. So then they just mug at each other for a second, and Zanette walks over to HHDO, and she says, "HHDO, like, kill these fools." And she gives him a kiss, and HHDO's like, "What? A kiss? I'm so stoked. I'm a phoenix rising from the ashes." That part's a quote. Like, I'm gonna do it.
It's fast. It's furious fastball time. He just keeps throwing these like insanely fast fastballs, and the way that they do it is like on his wind up. It's the film is being processed normally, but on the pitch they like speed up the film, and so it just moves like impossibly fast.
Yeah, it's great. So all the Rangers go down, and then Zanette does feel bad. So she like runs, because of course she does in fact secretly love Red Racer. So she runs over to HHDO. She's like, you stop. He's like, "Why? I'm about to kill these guys." And she says, "Too many pitches, man. Too many pitches. You're gonna hurt your shoulder. You're gonna throw your shoulder out. You got to take a break." And he's like, "Oh man,
it's a really good point.
It's a really good point. I had not thought about that. Good looking out, Zanette." And they just leave.
So okay, the next scene, Zanette is in a field, and
wait, not quite.
Okay, there is a brief scene of HHDO on a train, really excited to be on a train, resting his shoulder.
Yup, he is just on the park tram, like taking a tour around Rindle Lake Family Fun Park.
So we go to a field, and Zanette is like sitting in the field, wistfully thinking about the Red Racer, and she's got a flower, and she's doing like the he loves me not thing while she's pulling petals off the flower, but she's not exactly saying that. She's saying the Red Racer loses, the Red Racer loses not. Like, she is trying to use this to determine whether or not the Red Racer will be able to defeat HHDO and, like, convince her to maybe be his friend.
But she gets to the very last one, and it's a Red Racer loses, and she just throws it away.
Yeah. She doesn't want him to lose.
She doesn't pluck the petal, but then she's like, why do I even care? I don't want him.
This is stupid. Emotions suck.
This is all dumb.
Red Racer's a
and
dork.
Red Racer's the worst. Yeah. So we go from there, and the Rangers are all doing batting practice with Dapu.
Well, I mean, it's batting practice, except that there are no balls being thrown to them. They're just standing in the woods with baseball bats, swinging them wildly.
Yeah, that's how you get good at baseball.
I mean, apparently.
Listen, Matt, as far as I know, that's how you get good at baseball.
So, Dave, this is the first time that you've seen Dapu in his street clothes. What do you think?
Man, I'll be honest. There's a way in which it's better, and there's a way in which it's a lot worse.
Yep.
So, and I don't know that I could articulate what those ways are, but I'm sure that the thing that I just said is true. So he explains, he says, listen, when you hit the ball, it explodes 0.001 seconds later. So what you need to do is hit the ball back faster than that so it doesn't explode with you like in the blast radius. So, side note, so Yuko says, well, we can't possibly hit a ball in 0.0001 seconds. That's the invisible swing, and there's no way we can do it. I did check with with producer Mark, who is my source for baseball knowledge. He says, as far as he knows, the invisible swing is not a thing, which I think we all knew. I just wanted to confirm that it wasn't.
I appreciate you doing the legwork on that.
Yeah, they are all definitely talking about it as though, like, this is a known thing that everybody knows exists and that could be done if only you were good enough, but no one is that good. I also want to say, side note, that everybody else is finally color-coded appropriately, except Kyosuke, who is wearing a Georgia Tech warm-up outfit.
Yeah, full, like, zip-up, like, not starter jacket, like warm-up clothes. It's wild.
Like, I honestly was just furious because everybody else was finally, like, in colors.
For a moment, I thought...
And Kyosuke is normally in colors.
Yeah, for a moment, I thought that Minoru was not in the right color, but that's only because this is the first time I've ever seen him wear green.
Right.
And it just threw me off.
Okay, so anyways, they're like... So then they hear an explosion, and they're like, we got to get over there. Kyosuke's like, you guys go handle it. I am going to stay here.
Keep him busy.
Like, I'm going to master this.
I'm going to master... I give me another, 2 minutes, and I will have mastered the invisible swing. You got to keep him busy, because HHDO just threw a fastball and blew up a mountain.
Yeah. So here's what we find out, is that his pitch is super fast now. He's like, oh man, my shoulder's all rested. We go back to HHDO. He's like, oh man, my shoulder's all rested up. This is great. Except now my pitch is out of control. Like, it's too powerful. Like, now that I'm rested, I'm too powerful. I'm too strong.
Right. So I can't aim it right.
Right.
And maybe he just needs to get warmed up again.
Yeah. So we go back, and Kyosuke is just swinging the bat in the woods, which, again, is how you get good at baseball. And he's just doing some real intense stares, and he's like, Zanet, I will win this fight.
Right. Dapu tells him that he has to believe in the car magic. And Kyosuke says, I do believe in the car magic. And also, and then he has another flashback to thinking about Zanet crying. He's like, I believe in car magic, and I believe in Zanet's tears, and both of those things together mean that I'm going to learn the invisible swing.
Yes, and then he does.
And when he does, He like grips the bat super hard. He swings so hard that he goes into like a cyclone motion, and when the cyclone has cleared, he has henshined into the Red Racer. It rules, Dave.
Okay, did you notice he is not the only thing that henshins, Matt.
Oh, yes.
Because his bat also henshins. He was holding a regular bat, and now he's got like a gleaming red metallic bat. It's the best thing I've seen maybe in this entire show.
I love it a lot.
So now we see the other Rangers encountering HHDO, and they're like, kids all over the world love baseball. How dare you use it for destruction? Which is like a weird thing that, like, kids all over the world love all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, but
they
like
cars.
This moment felt very like Sailor Moon to me. Like, I think it's even like, especially season 1 Sailor Moon, if there was a monster who was doing something, Sailor Moon would say like, you know, little girls everywhere love fashion. How dare you use fashion to make them sad? I won't forgive you. And like, Matt, it is exactly this.
Can I tell you something, Matt? I've never seen Sailor Moon.
I've seen a few episodes.
So anyways. So now there was a brief fight before, and now all the Rangers are there, and Red Racer is there as well with his henchman bat. And he is like, all right, HHDO, like, give it to me. Let's do this. Everybody else just stands aside. The other Rangers are like, oh man, this is so exciting. Like, Red Racer's up. He's going to crush it. He must have mastered the invisible swing.
And HHDO is like, no, don't challenge me. If a batter challenges me, I must respond.
Like, I have to do this. I can't just blow you up. Like, I have to actually pitch my best baseball. So he calls it for the fences. Like, he Babe Ruth just sort of like points his bat out. It's awesome. He does a very excellent pose.
Zanet is watching like from behind a tree.
And he says, watch this, Zanet. HHDO pitches. He hits it. There's like some very cool animation, an excellent pose from Red Racer. And he knocks the ball not only to the fences, but into orbit.
Yes.
Where it explodes.
And it explodes in orbit, and we know that it explodes 0.001 second after being hit, which means that he hit it so hard that it went from, like, Earth to orbit in 0.0001 second. That's some good baseball.
Okay, Matt, just real quickly, he did hit that baseball at 12.4 million miles an hour.
Nice. Okay, nice quick math there.
Yeah, sure.
Hey man, he got the invisible swing.
It's incredible. I can't believe he did it. So
at this point, HHDO knows that he is like, he can't win just by throwing baseballs at them anymore because
So
Kyosuke is too strong. His batting is too powerful.
Right. So he downs Sumimu Yokan. It seems like they're going to do some giant baseball. They summon RV Robo, of course. It seems like they're going to do giant baseball. The Rangers are like, nope, and they just launch into their like whirling, spinning attack. He does get off a move called cloning voodoo sliders. So he throws like a whole bunch of balls all at once, but they, like, while they're spinning, just hit them all back.
I do like that a lot.
Yeah, then they just explode them all over HHDO, who then also gets exploded, but then also cut, and then he dies.
And that's it. That's it for HHDO, the hideous baseball freak. We cut to after the fight, and they are all packing up the van because the Pegasus Company vacation is over. So they're shoving all their luggage into the trunk, and also shoving Dapu into the trunk, like underneath the suitcases, because the boss is in the car and his son, and they don't want them to see their like hideous alien friend.
Mm-hmm. And so then they just sort of drive away. Kyosuke's driving. He's looking very pensive because Zanet did not just like come over and be like, oh, okay, well, I guess we'll be friends, even though he did Rin.
Yeah, we see him being wistful. We see her being wistful. And then the sun is going down, and they're both sort of like gazing into the sunset. And then she gets furious at the sunset because it is too red and is reminding her of Red Racer.
And then that's it for this episode. But Matt, That's not it for our episode.
No, Dave, because first we need to determine where HHDO lands in the Creature Royale. Dave, how do you feel about HHDO? I think he's a pretty decent monster.
He's a pretty decent monster. I like his vibe. He is very weird looking, which I don't love. But I like that he's a baseball monster. He's got a fun hook. I really like that he is compelled to pitch.
That really...
If Kyosuke challenges his... That really does a lot for me. He is not... Okay, so here's what I'll say. He is not in like my top... Like 25 or anything.
Okay.
He doesn't have the pathos, I think.
But okay, let's...
To make it that high.
Let's compare him...
But he's pretty cool.
Let's compare him to another sports monster. We got... at number 98 is Purse Monk, who, of course, as we know, has the sickest dunks.
Yes.
Now, I have a great fondness for Purse Monk because he was in, like, the second episode of this show.
Objectively, I think I might like HHD.
Okay, better. I'm trying to think of other sport monsters that we can compare him to.
Okay, I thought about this. Here's the problem, is the only other real sports-oriented monsters were the Three Stooges.
Well, and also the football centipede.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I like him better than the football centipede.
Even though the football centipede was also a magic Santa Claus?
Okay, that is really true.
Where is that guy on our list right now? Omukade. Omukade is at number 47 on the list right now. Okay. He is right below Binbogami, and he is right above Bara Crusher.
Okay, so here's the thing. I think HHDO is also rolling in on a very strong episode because he's part of the Red Racer Zanet dynamic.
Yes.
Which I think kind of gives him the same sort of boost that Omukade got from also being part of a magical Santa village. Mm-hmm. I like HHDO better than I like Omukade. But that magical Santa village in the episode was huge. So I think and then as I'm looking around, Sarigami the Ninja Monkey is right up there, and then we're up into Evil Mastermind Genius Kuroda, and LL Onene the Driving Madness at spot number 45. So I think I would say, and then just below Omukade is Bara Crusher, Bara Brain, the Light Armadillo, Kame Itachi the Sickle Weasel, Karis the Zookeeper. Okay. Here's what I'm going to say. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say below. No, I think I might. No, I don't like him quite as much as Kame Itachi the Sickle Weasel, but I like him better than Karis the Zookeeper. I'll say that.
Man, I really liked Karis the Zookeeper. I think. Okay. I really liked the character of Karis the Zookeeper. Karis the Zookeeper's monster form was bad.
Yeah, and also she did not like. I really liked the idea of her, but I'd go one down. Because I think I do like him better than... the Shootin' Doji Brothers are cool. Nah, the Shootin' Doji Brothers are mostly there on potential.
Yeah, honestly, so is Karis. If Karis had been in more than 2 episodes, I think she could have been, a really cool recurring villain. But since she was only in a 2-parter, I would feel comfortable putting HHDO above her.
Okay, so there he goes. Just below Kame Itachi the Sickle Weasel at spot number 56.
That is a pretty good showing for HHDO. But that, Dave, now, that finally does bring us to the end of another episode of Licensed to Carranger. Before we finish up here, I'd like to remind you all that you can email the show at supersentaibrothers@gmail.com. If you want to get any updates on future episodes or check out the things that we are talking about on Twitter, we are at Super Sentai Bros. If you like the show, please remember that shining in the iTunes review section, there are 5 stars. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, wherever it is that you find the show. It's just a nice thing to do. Super Sentai Brothers are a production of Retrograde Orbit Radio. To listen to any of the other great Retrograde Orbit Radio shows, you can do that all at retrogradeorbitradio.com. Once again, we are the Super Sentai Brothers. I'm Matt.
I'm Dave.
And we'll see you next week for the greatest show on Earth.